Hi, good evening, everyone. We are here tonight, Jackie, Sandy, and myself, Jill. We are ladies here in Indiana, and we're students of the Indiana Constitution. And we are learning about our rights and how to give government notice when we find that they are in maladministration most of the time, or when they need to make a correction with what they are doing by the way of local government or even state government on up to federal. And so tonight we have Jackie with us, who I would like her to introduce herself and share with us what role she has in the education system and what we did as the people when we found that there was an issue. We call it really maladministration, and Jackie will talk on that. But Jackie, tell us about what you do in education, and then we'll work our way into what we've done on behalf with the people.
Okay, so my name's Jackie, and I am a teacher in Huntington County Community Schools here in Indiana. And one of the things that I have become aware of within the school policies, actually throughout the entire state of Indiana, is a policy and a handbook that deals with reporting suspected child abuse to Child Protective Services. And so the role that I came to the school board about was actually twofold. One was I was coming as a teacher and what I was being asked or mandated to do, and then also as one of the people pertaining to the rights and the liberties of just people according to the Constitution. So when I saw this policy in the handbook, learning more and more about the Constitution, I realized at that point in time that a lot of rights were being infringed upon or abrogated. And so I wanted to address that issue with the school board because our school board was definitely in danger of maladministration. And I wanted to make sure that they didn't go that far. So I had, just to give you all a quick recap, I had a quick little meeting with administration, which then led to a presentation at a school board meeting, of which I outlined several different aspects of the law. And I can go into those a little bit when Sandy brings up the notice that I actually sent, and in hopes that they would adhere to the constitutional law after the presentation. And so that's kind of where we're at today.
Would you like me to bring up that notice for you, Jackie?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. So that's where we're at, Jill. I mean,
Yes.
we're at that point. So
Okay. And so what has already happened then is this notice was already drafted. I was put into a job form, correct? And
yes,
this was sent out to the people.
correct.
And that's all people too. When we speak of the people, yes, we are in Indiana, but we speak of all the people because, sometimes not just our issue is just for Indiana, nor is it just for like Jackie School District. This could be something that's happening within the state of Indiana. So this notice already went out in a job form. Jackie, how many job form signatures? So how many people signed this notice roughly?
Oh, it was actually very well put out there. We had over 400 people read this and say, yeah, we can definitely see where the rights are being abrogated. And I'm really particularly concerned with the rights that to the liberty interest of the parents of these children. Then obviously, I'm concerned about that as one of the people. Also, as one of the people, I'm very concerned about, our rights as teachers being required, mandated to do something that has not been given constitutional lawful authority to do so. And then obviously the main concern is children that are being targeted and, a high likely chance of being trafficked. We just know that is definitely something that happens from CPS, that children are trafficked through this agency.
Mhm.
So, but when I presented at the board, and Sandy did bring up the notice, what I presented at the board, first of all, was just stating what our Constitution is and what our inherent rights are. And I did some definition there for them about maladministration, which she's highlighting so that you can see that. And then the rights to assemble, which is what I did with the board. I assembled with them. I tried to, I gave them education of what the law actually was. And then I gave them some maxims of law, which I'm going to go into in just a little bit. And I cited some cases for them that showed that that no one can actually abrogate the rights, the liberty interest of their children, period. Can't do it. And so that came forward in the Troxel case. It's also stated in the Social Security Act of 1935, 1101 6D. So, and Sandy's highlighted that, and this notice is there available for anybody to read. But more than 400 people agree with this, trying to educate not only my school board and administration, but nationwide, really. I mean, this is like a nationwide issue where teachers and administration are being demanded to be an agent to this agency that is not, it's an administrative agency that hasn't been given constitutional authority to do what they're doing. So that just needs to come to a stop. So that was the address. And so if Sandy scrolls to the bottom, I can read that real quick if you would like. So
Would
please
you,
do. And
Jackie, I would like you to read the Miranda versus Arizona, because this is exactly what you have been saying to them in your explanation right now. But this
Okay.
shows where this is a case situation where this has been determined, which
Okay.
is right there. I have highlighted for you.
Okay. Yeah, it's called Miranda versus Arizona. And I did cite this right at the board meeting to them. So it says where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which can abrogate them. So, I mean, that's just solid right there. You just cannot abrogate the rights of anybody if it goes against the Constitution. You just can't do it. So we have the right. We just have to stand on that right. And that's my goal as one of the people, is to make sure that that happens. So.
And Jackie, would you like to summarize or read parts of your final notice of what you were pretty much so asking them and telling them how they can fix and solve this solution for you
Yes.
that you bring on behalf of the people to them?
Yes. And I can read it quickly. So it says, please take notice that it is my wish, order, and demand that the school board members of Huntington County Community School Corporation amend the language in the HCCSC Employee Guide effective June 2024, stating it will release all classroom teachers from being required to communicate by phone any victim of abuse or neglect to DCS. The teachers will be released of this requirement without future penalty. In addition, language shall include that teachers will direct all known abuses and neglect to any child to administration directly, and to identify the specific administrative positions who will be responsible to call and contact local law enforcement, i.e. the sheriff or city police. And then I asked them, furthermore, if you believe any of the above claims are untrue, or that you have authority to infringe and trespass on the guaranteed rights of the people, please provide the constitutional provisions that grant you such powers and privileges over the people. All responses must be submitted by affidavit, point by point, sworn under penalty and perjury within 10 days of receiving this notice, or you agree by acquiescence that all statements in this notice are truth and fact. Further, you agree that you are acting with full knowledge, intent, and malice by trespassing against the people's inherent rights, and no court shall be able to rehear this matter, but it shall stand as evidence, truth and fact, in all courts of record. It is my wish, order, and demand to resolve this matter peacefully, and that you make a public statement about this notice within 10 days. Failure to do so indicates that you have acquiesced to charges of maladministration. This notice is sent to you in the peace and love of Christ, so that you provide due care by necessity to those who hold all political power, we the people.
So where does this bring us to next after this notice? How did they respond to this notice?
Well, there was really not much of a response until I did a follow-up email. So we're talking, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, there was no response. And so I sent a quick email off to the administration asking them if they had received the hundreds of jot forms that were sent. And I got confirmation that they were all received. I was thanked for being passionate about the situation, but however, administration had to hold adherence to all statutes, state and federal, or they would be held liable for any of the situations. That was it. That's all I got.
So in other words, they acquiesced. They didn't adhere to or follow the instruction of the people in your demand. And so with that, was there anything else, Jackie, within the administration that you noticed? Any changes, anything take place that could
We
have,
had,
resulted from the notice?
yeah, possibly could have resulted from the notice. We had two major changes that occurred. One was the president of our school board resigned. And he resigned on the same night that we also had a new principal hired. The former principal is still within the school system, but he's now moved to a different position. So now we have a new school principal. So all of that happened pretty much on the same night, but we had the president resign and a new principal come in.
Right. And in our experience and what, we have heard, things like this do happen after a notice is served and the people have spoke, they brought forward the law, and sometimes we will hear of those types of changes. And that was indeed the case for your administration in your school district there. And so because of, those changes, Jackie, within administration and a little bit of, let's call it a shakeup within your school board, um, you and the people assembled again. You discussed what maybe was the next part of the remedy process moving forward, and you felt that something else was needed that would help possibly just extend, some grace, honestly, of showing the law because there are new administration coming in, especially well, and at this point you don't have a new school board president, but you wanted to extend that grace. And so what did the people feel would be a good place to take the remedy process at this point then?
Well, they obviously they want remedy. And I just want to do a side note in that I've heard from several other teachers and other school districts that have been following this notice because they are in the same boat, so to speak. So it's not just one school system, it's multi-level going through the same thing. So a lot of those people that signed the JOT forms are we the people not only working in a school system, but maybe a parent of a child that's in the school system. So it goes pretty deep. So I just wanted to make sure that the administration is like, hey, show me in the Constitution where you have the authority to do this. And so
Jackie, have you heard from the administration at all since the notice has been sent?
no, just that email, just the email stating that they had to adhere to state and federal statute. That's the only thing that I've received. So,
Okay.
but I've heard from other people that have signed the form, like, hey, where are we at with this, And so I just thought at this point in time, we need to do a point of clarity. And with a point of clarity, now it falls back on the board. So the board has sworn an oath to the Constitution to uphold the Constitution. That's what they swore an oath to. And so I want to do, and the people want to do a point of clarity. Hey, we're asking you to show this clarity, this point of clarity that is needed.
Hey, let me bring up the document and you can read
Okay.
it to the people and explain it. Is that okay for you to see or over a little bit more?
Yep,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah. So the title of the point of clarity is just this, a point of clarity regarding board members binding oath in emergency meeting to amend the policy. So it says, as a board member, you have sworn to faithfully honor your oath, binding you to the constitutions to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of the people. Maximum Law 50C of the fundamental law states that good faith demands that what is agreed upon shall be done. The people are aware that the board has written language in their bylaws to hold an emergency meeting to amend the policy, which is found in the HCCSC Employee Handbook, section titled Department of Child Services. Please give a point of clarity. If you believe the oath you have sworn to and are bound to, and are not allowed to trespass, but protect the lives, liberties, and the pursuit of happiness of the people found in the Indiana Constitution and United States Constitution, and that you have the authority to amend the aforementioned policy regarding the Department of Child Services in an emergency meeting. Please respond and acknowledge with a yes or no, indicating that you agree or disagree with the above point of clarity notice at the next public scheduled board meeting on February 10, 2025.
Okay. Well, that sounds like it's very straightforward point of clarity. As the people can see, you're drawing attention to their oath as the school board. And that's a very important piece for any of our elected officials from school board level all the way up to, our Supreme Court of the United States. So all of them take that oath, and that's what you're drawing attention to, Jacque, here with the people. And you want them to just acknowledge. And so this point of clarity will go into a jot form again, just like you did with your notice. The people will have opportunity to read it, sign it, and share it. And then once that's done, it'll be dated. It'll go directly to the school board members, and it'll also go to the state representatives and then local. We will also send it to our sheriff, and they will be CC'd on it as well. But it'll go directly to those school board members and CC to the legislature, because the legislature needs to be aware of what the people's grievances are. And it is their duty to actually look into the matter. And so that's why our representatives are our voice in our district. So this may go to one or two of the local representatives of Jacque's district as well. And so with that, is there any last thoughts as far as these two documents? This is what's been done to date. And the people have remedies still to continue should the school board decide to not acknowledge, and they continue to acquiesce, which means they agree to everything that we've put in the law in these documents as the people. But the process will continue on if necessary. But we do hope, Jacque, and you can, share here, our hope and wish is what for your administration?
Right. So the hope and wish is for the administration to just understand that the people have protected, guaranteed rights. And one of those rights, one of many, is the protection of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And the liberty section is so important when it comes to the liberty interest of the parents' children. And it also, the liberty interest of the child and the liberty interest of all of those that work within a school system. And when things are mandated to go against the law, that is what needs to stop. So we're just simply asking that the law be followed according to the Constitution. And the person that needs to be notified of this is not a teacher, not an administrator, but the lawful authority, which would be in my county, the sheriff. And so that is the hope, is that we just give all of that back to, or to claim, I guess is the right word. We're just claiming that right. And I just want our administration to understand that that's the lawful path that we have to take.
Okay. Well, we thank you for sharing, Jacque, what is going on in your school district. It's not unlike many throughout probably the state of Indiana and really the 50 states. So the people have a grievance, and it's our right by constitutional right to bring forward our grievances in a peaceful notice. And it's stated very clearly. So ladies, I thank you for coming together tonight. We want to extend this education out to the people. And if they have any questions, I hope they would reach out to you, Jacque, and to us as we continue to be students of the Indiana Constitution. Is there any last things, ladies, that we need to shore up on this?
No,
The only thing I would like to add is that this is a concern of the people, and I would say primarily through the state of Indiana. As Jacque said, I believe that all have been affected by what has been placed into policy books for teachers.
Mhm. Yep.
Well, we do thank you again for being with us, and please come back. We will provide a report again to update you what has been done or not done. And please look for the job form that will be go right along with this video. Once this is put out, we will have that job form for you, and we would just ask that you would share it with everyone. People in other states can sign this as well, because again, we want to emphasize the people of all 50 states can sign any notice, and it's across state lines. We are always the people. We always have that inherent right, no matter what state we're in, we reside in. So we thank you for being with us. Have a great night and take care.
Thank you.